folks, it's your main man E, and I'm coming at you today with a video about the back tie, or this idea of tying your dog back to something on a relatively short leash. You can see here right now there are a number of dogs on my property all tied back. So in this video we are going to talk about what exactly the tie back is, how do we set it up, some things to be careful about as far as safety goes, and what are the benefits of the back tie, and how do we reinforce our dog enjoying and learning from the process of being tied back to something. So first and foremost, the back tie is obviously tying your dog back. Something is tied behind them. Typically that's because we're going to tie them to a wall, and so the wall is going to be behind them. And the reason we oftentimes tie the dog to the wall is because it makes it less likely that they're going to, in the case of this tree, wander around to the other side of the tree, and maybe not conceptually understand, hey, just stay put, and one side of you, there's no distractions. So we're trying to help the dog by having a wall behind them and say, hey, no need to get up. Right behind you is nothing distracting. There is only distracting stuff on three sides of you, potentially. So how do we set up a back tie? Well, here you can see there's a variety of different ways. You can wrap a leash around a pole or a leg of a table, or perhaps even a doorknob. You can see here we're using chains. That is because we don't want the dog to chew through the leash and thus escape from the back tie. It's really important when you back tie dogs that you always have a swivel on the leash, so that if they turn around and they twist around here, the leash isn't going to get all twisted up and tighten. Okay. This is another way to have a back tie, is to put an eyelet like this into something. And I suggest people have several places around their house or property where they can back tie the dog and have the dog practice staying put successfully. In this case, with this puppy, we're actually using a little bit of a longer back tie, and that's because sometimes a dog might feel overly restricted or trapped from a short leash, and when we're just introducing this concept to a dog, there's no need to jump to using a very short leash unless we're in a rush. We can start with a longer leash and eventually go to a shorter leash and avoid the dog maybe feeling trapped. When I hook up a back tie to the dog's collar, I'm typically going to hook it up to their normal standard flat collar. Okay, I am not going to hook it up to the prong collar. I'm not going to hook it up to anything that can tighten on the dog's neck. And that's for safety purposes, but also if the dog were to begin to pull on that leash and tighten the leash on their own, it might actually reinforce leash pressure in a way that I'm not attempting to reinforce, versus if they happen to pull on their flat collar, or they happen to, take a nap and they're at the end of the leash and the leash is kind of tight on their flat collar, it's not a big deal at all. Good boy. So we talked a little bit about this, but really what I'm doing is I'm having treats in this case. Good. I'm saying the word good, and then I'm coming over periodically and I'm paying this dog for staying here. Now, at first I may be paying them for staring at me and being really fixated on, hey, am I going to get a treat? I'm doing good. I'm tied up here, right? That's good. But eventually I may wait until they, take a nap or they stop staring at me. And, you could see like one of my own dogs here is extremely relaxed. I might wait until they're really relaxed and then go over there and pay them. Good girl, Emma. When we release the dog from the tie back or we untie them, they are not supposed to go running off into the sunset. We should have them wait calmly and then release them with some sort of word like break or okay or free. I use the word break. In this case, we are using the placemats and we are teaching these dogs the place command. That is, although related to the tie back, and many times they are done in congruence with one another, it is not necessary to have a placemat or a bed to teach your dog the idea of staying put and being on a tie back. The benefits of the tie back are enormous. First of all, we can ensure when we say stay, our dog is going to stay. And if we are going to reward them with positive reinforcement, we can be certain that we are rewarding successful attempts at the command stay or place, or simply helping them understand when I put you in a command, you stay in the command until I release you. And that's what I do. I typically just use the word down or sit or place. I do not use the word stay, but I digress. With dogs that are impulsive and tend to be highly distracted, the tie back can help them learn how to settle and just essentially give up on trying to get to the distractions. So we definitely want to start doing this in a low distraction environment where the dog's learning to just relax. And we can even create some subtle distractions, and like this dog here is distracting himself, wanting to go over to my other dog. And when he finally stops doing that and he gives up, I'll go over there and I'll reward him. With dogs that are high energy, the working dog variety, this type of guy, a Malinois, a Pit Bull mix, this guy, a Cairn Terrier, the place command, or the tie back, I should say, can help them so much with being able to have an off switch, being able to be relaxed and settled for a long period of time, regardless of whether or not they've had a tremendous amount of physical exercise that day. So in this particular case with this guy who struggles getting excited around dogs, him just practicing sitting here while these dogs are playing is huge, because it's helping him create the behavioral patterns that mean when I see dogs, I just relax and it's no big deal. I don't have to get excited. I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes I will get to play with them, but other times maybe I won't. Good boy, buddy. For dogs like this guy who have a little bit of separation related behaviors, shaking, crying, maybe potentially anxiety, hard to say, this can really help him understand too, hey, no, it's good to be here, to be sitting, and to let mom or dad go around the house and do some things and come back to you and say, good boy. That's modeling this picture that we can leave and you can stay there and be relaxed, and that's great. That's awesome. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. One thing I wanted to mention is, why do some of these dogs have leashes on them? I'll demonstrate for you. This one has a leash on right here. Come on, Bippy. Come on, pup. There you go, pup. There you go, puppy. There you go. The leash is on the dog so I can guide the dog with their training collar. And so sometimes I may have a short leash on the training collar, and I can still use that to guide them. Come on, baby. Hop up. Come on. And in this case, like I said, we're going into place command now, but they are very closely related. In this case, I want to show him, hey, don't lay in this way. I'm going to fix the leash for him. I'm going to say, don't lay in this way where the leash is all tangled around you, okay? Like, that's a important part about this, and this is a skill it teaches the dog, is to not tangle themselves up in the leash. And if they are tied up and they become tangled, to not panic. Because if they just relax, we will come over there and we will help them untangle the leash. The tie back, I cannot emphasize enough, is one of the greatest things you can do with your dog. It costs almost no money, and you can do it anywhere, pretty much at any time. As always, keep safety first, and always be careful when tying a dog up to anything with any type of collar. But that's our video today on the tie back. Hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, go ahead and hit the like button or subscribe button to see more videos in the future. And from everyone here at Follow the Leader Canine, we just want to tell you how lucky your dog is to have you as its owner. And to remember, always, we don't blame them. We train them. Till next time.